Everyone, welcome back to JavaFlair. Let us try to understand one more important concept that is present in Java, that is nothing but variables. First, let us try to understand what are variables. Think of variables like a container or a box where we are storing the values or information. This information can be number, text, or even true or false values. In Java, variable help our program remember the data so we can use it in the further process and also manipulate it later. Hope now majority of the students have a question called why do we need variables? Let me answer for that question. They make our program or code dynamic as well as flexible. Without variable, our code would be fixed and boring. For example, in a gaming, how would you track a score of a player, a health of a player, or the current level that he is in? This is where variable come in hand. As we now understood what are variables, why do we need variables? Now let us move one step further and understand the rules for declaring variables. Variables can't be declared according to our wishes. There are certain rules and regulations that we need to follow in Java to declare a variable. Let us try to understand them step by step. First step is choose the correct data type. If we want to store an integer value, declare the variable as int. If we want to store a double, declare the variable as double, etc. If you want to store string, character, it depends on what you're storing. So make sure you declare the variable according to the value that you want to store. Second rule is make the variable name as meaningful as possible. Let me take an example and explain this to you. For example, if you want to sum two values, don't declare the variables as a, b, x, y, z. Make sure you use the variable like for the number 1 that we want to add, declare the variable as num1. For the number 2 we want to add, declare the variable as num2. For the total sum, declare the variable as sum. If somebody comes and sees the program, they'll understand, okay, num1 is variable 1, num2 is variable 2, sum is the variable which is storing the summation of num1 and num2. This increases the code readability so that it makes the program more efficient and good. Third step is there should be no space or special characters that should be present in the variable name other than $sign and underscore. Step 4 in Java is case sensitive in nature. Let us try to understand what do you mean by case sensitivity in Java. Consider I have declared a variable age. While declaring, I have declared the variable as age using small letters. While using to print the age variable, I have written it as capital A and small letter GE. The age which was declared in small letter and which is declared as capital letter in the beginning is totally different. Step 5 is do not use reserved keywords to declare a variable name like int, class, static, public, new, finally, etc. Code and understand this concept in a more better way. Now let me go back to IntelliJ. From today's lecture, I'll be using IntelliJ instead of Eclipse. Choose whatever the IDE you want or you are comfortable with. Okay. Now I have declared a class and a method. In main method, let me declare a variable int age is equal to 25. Let me print this system.out.println. In age, I am writing capital A G E in the small. So let me try to compile and see what it gives. Okay, now you can see that it is giving error saying age is not declared, which means the age that we declared in the previous was completely small letter and the age we have declared over here is a completely new variable which Java doesn't knows. Let me declare a variable using reserved keywords. Example, double class is equal to 10. Okay, let me save and compile this. See, it is showing me an error. which is nothing but class is already a reserved keyword in Java. We cannot use reserved keywords as a variable name in Java. Okay, now let's go back to our slides and understand few more concepts. Let us try to understand declaring as well as initializing variables. Declaring means creating a box where you can actually store the information. Initializing means you're actually putting the value or the information into the box. For example, declaring. For example, let us first try to understand what is declaring. Consider I have written int age, which is nothing but I have said to the Java that I have a variable called age of type integer. I have not yet initialized the value. If I try to print this value, it will give the value has not been initialized. Let me do it and see. Okay, now you can see in IntelliJ console that it is showing me that there is no value that has been initialized. Okay, now let me go back and initialize. In the next line, I am using the variable I have declared in the previous line, that is nothing but age. Age is equal to 30. Now if I compile and run, see, in the console I can see age is being printed. This is one way of declaring and initializing, where we declare the variable in the first line and now we have initialized the variable in second line. We can also do it in a different way. We can do it in one line, that is, okay, as we have already declared the variable called age in IntelliJ, we can't use it again. Let me take another new variable, explain this concept to you. I am declaring int lecture is equal to 6 semicolon. So from now on I will not be saying add semicolon. Make sure you remember that, as this is one of the most important and error that we always do. Let me compile and see. See, if I print lecture, lecture is being printed as 6. In this we have declared int lecture and we have also initialized 6 as the value in the same line. Common data types that are present in Java. Here are some commonly used data types that are present in Java. Integer, which is written as int, which is nothing but used to store a whole number. Example, 25, 30, -1, -2. You can also store minus values as well as positive values. Second important data type is double. Double is mainly used to store decimal numbers or the floating values. Example, 99.5, 20.1, so on. Floating value is also a value or a data type which is used to store decimal numbers but with less precision. Double will store more decimal values but float will store less precision values. We explained for double, it also stores values like 36.6 f. F is used to indicate that it is a floating value. Another important data type is character, which is written as CHAR, char. Single character like A, B, C or so on can be stored in characters. Boolean data type. It is declared as Boolean. It can store only either true or false values. Another one of the most used data type is string. String is used to store series of characters, or we can also see it as words or sentence like Alexa. Remember, character values go in single quotation, but whereas string values go in double quotation. It is mandatory to use them. If not, the Java compiler will give you a compile time error. We have understood the concept called what to do with variables, what not to do with variables. Now let us try to understand how we can reassign or change the values that we have assigned to a variable. Consider, once a variable has a value, we can reassign it anytime. Example, let me go back to IntelliJ and demonstrate this. I have declared int a is equal to 5. Now I am printing system.out.println int a. Now again let me initialize the value of a as a is equal to 10. Now you can see that the previous value of a was 5. Now it is reinitialized as 10. Unless I store the initial value or the old value in another variable, that value will be lost after reinitializing. Now let us try to understand multiple variable declaration in a single statement. Initially we saw how to declare and then initialize, and we saw how to declare and initialize in the same line. Now let us try to understand how to declare and initialize multiple variables in the same line. We can declare and initialize multiple variable of same data type. Make sure you listen to this carefully. Same data type in one line. You can't initialize int, double, float in a single line. They all need new line of initialization. But consider I want to initialize a variable a, b, c, all of type integer. I can do this in the single statement. That is, let me go back and demonstrate this in IntelliJ. I am declaring a variable of type int a is equal to 5, b is equal to 10, c is equal to 15. Let me print all these three values and see whether it gives me an error or output. Write system.out.println a semicolon, system.out.println b semicolon, system.out.println c semicolon. Make sure you separate all the values that has been initialized using comma. We can see in the console that a is printed as 5, b is printed as 10 and c is printed as 15. This makes our code cleaner and shorter. As we have understood the basic concepts of variables in Java, now let us go back to IntelliJ and code a complete program so we can get more better understanding about variables. In this program, I'll be declaring a variables of different data types and I'll be taking the input using scanner. Remember, we have already studied scanner, how to declare, how to use. So make sure if you have not seen the video, go back, see it and come back to this tutorial. Now I'll be importing scanner class first. Import java.util.scanner. I already have a class called variable demo and have a main method which is the starting point of program. I'll be declaring an object for the scanner class I've imported using the following statement: scanner sc is equal to new scanner system.in. First, I'll say the programmer to enter their age using system.out.print enter your age. I'm declaring a variable called age of data type int and I'll be taking input using scanner. Int age is equal to sc.nextInt. Now I'll be taking height in centimeters. System.out.println enter your height in centimeters. Double height equals sc.nextDouble as the height can be a floating point in centimeters. Now let me take the grade of a particular student which can be either A, B, C. System.out.print enter your grade A/B/C. As we are taking character, we need to use char as the data type. char grade is equal to scanner.next dot character at 0. The next will take the entire output and return only the character at 0th index. So this is the syntax to take character using scanner. Now I'll be taking are you a student or false, which is nothing but a boolean data type. System.out.println are you a student, true or false. Boolean is a student is equal to sc.next boolean. Now I'll be taking name, which is nothing but string, but previously I took int, double, boolean, character and so on. This will leave certain amount of space in the buffer. If I say sc.nextLine, it will take the space and store it in the form of name, but it will not actually take the value. So to avoid it, I'll be adding sc.nextLine additionally before taking the input, so that sc.nextLine will consume the leftover new lines, and sc.nextLine that we have initialized to name variable will actually take the name and store it in the name variable. System.out.print enter your name, sc.nextLine to consume the leftover new lines, string name is equal to sc.nextLine. Now, as we have collected all the information from the user using scanner class, let's try to print them. System.out.println user details. System.out.print name plus name. System.out.println age plus age. System.out.println height plus height plus centimeters to indicate that we have taken height in centimeters. System.out.println grade plus grade. System.out.println is student plus is student. Either it will print true if we have entered true, if not it will print false. As we have opened the scanner class, it is our responsibility to close it. So I'll be adding sc.close at the end. Now let's save and see the output. I'll be entering name as Sahana, age as 35, height as 6.5, grade as A, is student as true. Okay, now we can see that in the output, name Sahana, age 35, height 6.5, grade A is student true. We have completed learning variables in Java. I would like to give you one practice question. In this practice question, we will create a program that calculates how much money a person will save in a year. Step 1, ask the user for their name. In step 2, ask for weekly saving amount. In step 3, ask for number of weeks. In step 4, multiply weekly savings by the number of weeks to get total savings. Display the result. If you have any doubt or queries about this problem or the tutorial, please make sure you drop a comment. I'll be here to help you. So that's all about variables in Java. Variable gives memory, flexibility to our program. I suggest you to practice writing your own program using variables. If you found this useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to JavaFlair. Thank you for your support. Keep supporting us.